145. We start out at 125 for North Carolina. What a story. Cameron Stinson, not too bad in high school, 205-0 with 4 state titles.
Yeah, to come right into high school as a true freshman and go undefeated is one thing, but to go 205-0 in your high school career is quite an accomplishment. He's a North Carolina kid. This is a big opportunity for him to wrestle in front of some home fans.
He's 5-5 on the season, so for him that had to be strange, right? Even losing 5 times based on that incredible success in high school, but obviously a big jump into the ACC.
Yeah, big jump coming into college, but it is definitely a change when you go from somebody who's more of a world beater in high school, who's used to always getting your hand raised and everybody in the room is now good and everybody you're competing against was a state champion level wrestler. It's a different experience to kind of overcome that physical and mental hurdle.
Riley Rowan has been splitting time with Ethan Grimminger at 125. Rowan gets the nod from Glenn Lanham today for Duke.
Yeah, he's been promising. He's a bit undersized as a true freshman here at 125 pounds, but he battles. It's also a good opportunity for him to get out here and wrestle against UNC at home and see if he can start Duke off with a win.
Shot defended well there by Rowan. Rowan from Perry, Ohio, 1-3 on the season. It was Grimminger on Tuesday, and a tough loss for Duke as they got down early, 15-0, but then fought all the way back. It looked like they were going to maybe pull it out, but they did suffer the loss against Gardner-Webb.
Yeah, tough match against Gardner-Webb, but you never want to get in a hole like that. They end up getting a pin at 157 pounds that kind of spurns a mini comeback, and nearly pull off a big comeback win at 184 pounds that could have ended up winning them the duel. Rowan here has been looking to attack off this left side underhook. Stinson's had good head position here, kind of controlling some of the ties, though Rowan's still getting to this underhook.
55 seconds left in the first, still no score. Most of this first period, both wrestlers standing up. Limited shots, really, Rhino.
Still kind of feeling each other out. A lot of that nervous energy, I think, coming into a duel like this. 2 young guys as well getting used to college wrestling. Wrestling a lot from this kind of over-under position, battling for head position.
I must say, it's worth repeating. 205-0 in high school with 4 state titles. There's, I think, only 10 people in the nation's history to pull that off at the high school level.
Yeah, I mean, in any state that you're in, not losing a single high school regulation match is really impressive. And to do it wrestling over 50 matches a year, to not just kind of make a mistake one time, I mean, it speaks to your preparation. It speaks to the training you've put in.
I feel like it's really difficult at those lower weight classes as well, because it's hard to maintain that low weight every single year, but he wrestled pretty much at a low weight most of the time.
Yeah, and there's a lot of talented kids, mainly those younger freshmen who are getting into the lineup are those really good kids that were in middle school that come into high school, and typically those weight classes are pretty loaded, so to not lose at all, really impressive. And Stinson gets out here pretty quickly.
The first point of the match.
Good low shot.
Yeah.
Trying to build out the back door here.
How about the speed of that low shot too, Rhino?
Really good timing, and that's a great time to score right off an escape. You expect to kind of get back into a hand fight. Rowan's doing a nice job here, though. And he gives up the 2. He had kind of the far ankle, couldn't get his hips up. And Stinson gets the first takedown of the match.
So it's 4-0.
Stinson did a nice job slowly climbing up the body, using that count to get into good position, and now he's attacking a wrist. He's probably going to look to get a tilt here.
So Rhino, against Gardner-Webb, Glenn Lanham talked a lot about hey, if we don't win, let's not give up bonus points. He did tell me on Tuesday he's worried about the amount of bonus points North Carolina could collect.
And this has been a big concern for Duke this year, especially in this bottom position. A lot of guys giving up wrist control. With 4-point near fall now and 3-point takedowns, bonus points can come easier and easier, and it really puts you behind in the team score. You know, in wrestling, we think of it as an individual sport, but every match for the team really matters, and the more you can kind of keep matches close, the better in the end, especially if you can get one of those bonus point wins.
A little bit of blood, I believe, for Stinson. Look at the speed of this low shot from Stinson.
Really impressive. Just lowers his level, catches the near ankle, and collects that far ankle. And then the patience to work to this backside finish is really impressive for Stinson. No panic. As we said, a guy who won a lot in high school, is used to getting there, and made the most of that opportunity.
Actually, it's Rowan. They both, I think, maybe had a little bit of blood, and perhaps Stinson had some of Rowan's blood. I'm not totally sure, but you see Glenn Lanham standing over there. You know the Duke coaching staff well. Tell us a little bit about the Duke coaching staff, Rhino.
Glenn Lanham's been very successful here at Duke. He's a hard-nosed coach, believes in you. Corey Bell, volunteer assistant, has been here for a long time. Really excellent coach, underappreciated in the country, has been a huge part of Duke's success at heavyweight. Ethan Ramos coming back to this duel. He wrestled for UNC, and now he's coaching for Duke. That's got to be an interesting experience for him. And then, of course, Big Cat Tom Erickson, the legend for USA Wrestling, is the lead assistant for Glenn Lanham.
And a key reason why Duke seems to have kind of become heavyweight U in many ways.
Yeah, that's been the staple for 10, 15 years now in the lineup at Duke. And you know, this coaching staff has really done an excellent job developing those guys, as well as targeting guys in high school who may have the tools to really develop into a great college heavyweight. Stinson's going to let Rowan go. I assume he's going to be looking for a bit of bonus here, and he gets on the attack right away.
Defended well, though, by Rowan this time around. Got his shoulders squared.
And if you're Rowan, you got to be thinking, you know, he let me out. This is a one takedown match. If I get a takedown, I can wipe out that riding time. This is still a close match. You're in it. The escape is a nice freebie. Get back to your feet and get to work. Ooh, nice slide by attempt by Rowan.
Rhino, I don't know how you feel about moral victories, but this is solid from Rowan to be only down 4-1 here against the talented freshman Stinson out of North Carolina.
And yeah, and he's really starting to pick up the pace here in the third and be the one to attack. You know, if you're Duke's coaching staff over there, you got to feel pretty good about this one and wonder, can we end up stealing this? Can we end up getting overtime and start this duel off the right way? Stinson's just maintaining that head position. Rowan's getting to that left-sided underhook really well here, but he's got to get better head position if he wants to attack off this. Stinson again from the open. Really nice shot there from Stinson. Collects both angles.
It was a good enough shot where I thought maybe he could get some back points, but Rowan fighting through it. The final score will be 8-1 when you include the riding time, so a 3-point victory for Stinson and the Tar Heels.
Yeah, well timed. Stinson looking to work from the open, collects both ankles there, and then again the patience to climb up the body. And as Dean said, he's starting to think turn here for bonus. He doesn't end up getting it. A nice decision win for Cameron Stinson.
So 3-0 through 1. Now we move to 133 here at Cameron Indoor.
And 133
It's going to be Adams versus Oakley for Duke and North Carolina, respectively. Raymond Adams at 133, a sophomore for Duke.
And Oakley, a transfer from Appalachian State, multiple-time NCAA qualifier, won the Southern Conference Championship last year and ended up going 2-2 at the NCAA tournament. He's got some really nice wins this year.
Oakley, a three-time North Carolina State High School champion for Wheatmore High School. Oakley with key wins over Jacob Van Dee from Nebraska, Kyle Berwick from North Dakota State, and Blake Borman from UTC.
And those are all guys you expect to be at the national tournament. Van Dee just had an upset win over Tyler Wells from Minnesota in a Big Ten victory for Nebraska over Minnesota.
You mentioned App State, Oakley, the 2024 SoCon champion.
Adams has done a nice job so far slowing down Oakley, getting to this 2-on-1. He's a guy who's battled a lot. He's wrestled a really tough schedule for Duke and just kind of hasn't gotten over that hump yet, where they're hopeful he can kind of continue to develop at this weight class and be a staple in the lineup for Duke.
He's been a staple. He hasn't missed a meet. 6-16. He has wrestled at this weight class in every meet this season. Last year, 5-20, 11-36 overall. His last win coming in the Southern Scuffle against Davidson's John Hager. Talking about Raymond Adams for the Duke Blue Devils.
Adams is doing a nice job so far, kind of connecting his hands, a little 1-2 action to get to his left side underhook, which is stifling some offense and getting him into short offense. He's going to have to move Oakley better here, kind of bounce him off the mat, change directions to try to get to legs or get to a corner to try to score here.
Oakley, as you mentioned, making nationals last year, and one of his wins was over Latona from Virginia Tech, a wrestler you know well.
Yeah, Sam Latona, top 10 guy in the country, an All-American, a guy who somehow at one point was making 125 pounds, though he looks big at 141 pounds this year. But yeah, Oakley's got a nice collection of wins. I know North Carolina is just looking for a bit more consistency from him and a guy they believe can be an All-American this year.
Final seconds winding down in the first. Similar to what we saw at 125. Not a ton of offense, and we'll end the first period at zeros.
And Duke in both the first two matches has really tried to get to a left-sided underhook, slowing some of the offense down, keeping these matches close.
So Adams will start the second down for Glenn Lanham's Duke Blue Devils. Do not need to remind the viewers, but it's still worth talking about. The 4 fine silvers and then Casper really kind of showed that Duke every year, they were sending 5 guys to the Nationals.
Yeah, sending half the lineup is a big accomplishment, especially for a program like Duke. And, at that time, Duke was, showing up in the top 25 in the team rankings or the dual rankings. And, they're trying to get back there and build that culture back up to find the guys who can get the program back to that level.
Yeah, you almost feel like he's waiting for the phone call from Colorado to find out there's another 2 sets of twins.
Yeah, there's another lost set of fine silver twins. The rough gold twins are out there somewhere. Those guys were incredible. Just incredibly hard workers. Oakley's done a really nice job with this right side leg ride. Double boots in now.
Well, and it's a leg ride that's going to Really take some wind out of Adams.
Exactly, yeah. This just kind of exhausts you from being on the bottom, especially when you're getting somebody switching from a single boot or jumping sides, getting to double boots. They call a stalemate there. A little mistake from Oakley to go double boots there, because you end up in a parallel ride, and sometimes the officials like to kind of blow that dead. Gives Adams a fresh start. He goes sit out. Oakley catches the ankle, and he's going to elevate this back leg here with his... Oh, and Adams does a nice job of sliding his ankle out.
Yet he is running out of time to get what he had hoped would be that 1-point escape. I don't see it happening here, Rhino.
Now belly down, 10 seconds left. Tall task to end up getting one here. It looks like Oakley's going to ride out this period with 2 minutes of riding time. And I suspect he'll take the bottom position to start the third.
So Oakley, 13-4 in his first season with the Tar Heels. And he indeed will start the third and final period down, and I think it's going to be a quick release. We'll see what happens. So quick, they started too early.
Adams trying to get a jump, trying to get some of that riding time back.
Legs wide, legs up. Oh, there you go. A little bit
Lift
of
and return. Oakley goes right to a short sit. And he's going to try and pressure back into Adams and take this top hand and cut his hips out. And he's out. That's exactly it. We're back to neutral.
with a 1-0 lead for the favorite Oakley. Riding time in play as well.
If you're Adams now with the 3-point takedown rules, you don't have to think about that too much. One takedown completely changes the match, and Adams gets in on a nice single leg. He's going to have to run the corner here. He's got his elbow down. Oakley's doing a nice job squaring up.
I applaud that shot, though, from Adams. He's got himself a little bit of trouble, head buried, but
he's got to bump his hips under. Oakley's doing a nice job here. Really composed. It's easy if you're the favorite in a match like that. Adams gets to your leg to kind of have some panic, especially up 1-0. And Oakley did a nice job slowly changing his position, squaring up, getting to his crotch lock, and stifling that, getting back to his feet.
Adams with no choice but to try a shot. It was more of a flail, I would say, that time, Rhino.
Yeah, went for misdirection, and Oakley's kind of all over it, not near that back leg. Now they're in short offense. He's running out of time here.
Decent year for the ACC. A season high, 48 wrestlers out of the ACC were ranked in the top 33 of their respective weight classes.
It's a really strong conference now, especially with the addition of Stanford. Good wrestling every week here on Friday Night Duels. 10 seconds left. Adams got to put something out there. Probably got to go sucker drag here to see if he can get anything.
It's going to be another win for the Tar Heels as Oakley will get the win. And it's a 6-0 where North Carolina will feature Jaden Scott, 9-7. And he was phenomenal at the Southern Scuffle where they have a ton of teams. He finished second.
Yeah, that was really a breakout event for him. He's a guy who's coming down in weight. He's a big 41-pounder, really hard to score on, and really kind of solidified himself as someone we should see at the national tournament come March.
It's Christian Coleman, a senior from Doylestown, Pennsylvania, Germantown Academy, at 141 for Glenn Lanham's Duke Blue Devils.
Coleman's a guy who really likes to get to a 2-on-1 tie from his feet. He likes to catch it off the opponent's attack. So he's going to have to get there early and often to try to stifle Jaden Scott in this first period.
Coleman had an exciting win against VMI 7-6, which was critical as Duke got that win over VMI.
And that was a much needed match. I think that match for Duke was closer than some people expected. And Coleman showed a lot of grit to get to his positions, know where he needed to get to win the match to help his team secure a victory.
Scott for the Tar Heels 9-7, but of those 9 wins, he beat Swartz from Oklahoma and Marsh from North Dakota State, 2 notable wins.
Yeah, 2 guys who have been at the tournament. Moshe Swartz was ranked 8th in the country at the time of that win for Jaden Scott at the Southern Scuffle. And Scott's a guy who won a New York State title at 152 pounds, so him being down at 141 pounds, he's a real hoss at this weight. The real trouble for him this year has been consistently getting off the bottom. There's Coleman getting to that 2-on-1. Really nice job by Scott. Coleman gets to a shot. Nice inside drag by Jaden Scott. Collects an ankle, and he's got a 3-point takedown.
First 3 of this match, and Scott with a 3-0 lead. Coleman's been a regular for Lanham the last 3 years. Record's not there, but he's been ready to go, at least for Coach.
He's been dependable. Availability has been his calling card here, staying healthy, and at least giving somebody to battle out there on the mat. Looks like he's going to get out here. And Coleman was out there and then kind of let Scott recollect his hips.
See Scott trying to keep the 1 foot in. Coleman does finally get the whistle out of bounds.
Really smart work by Scott, knowing where he is on the mat, using the edge, burn clock, build your riding time.
Ten seconds remaining here in the first. It's Scott with the 3-0 lead. And if he can get all 10 here, he'll enter the second with the clearance of the 1 minute riding time needed for that extra point, and he's got it.
Nice work by Scott here. Goes inside drag and then drops down, collects a far ankle. In freestyle, this would have been the match over with this leg lace here, but he climbs up to the body to secure his 3-point takedown.
So Coleman on top. Scott immediately to his 2 feet. Now trying to break the vice. He's got it. Escape, so another point.
Easy escape for Scott through the UNC corner. You like to see that from him. Get those reps, getting out on bottom quickly. Coleman gets to that 2-on-1. Scott pushing his head away. Coleman's going to have to get better head position to use this.
Scott, number 24 in the country. And he's got a pretty decent build. I mean, we've seen
nice ankle pick there. Using leverage of that knee. He's going to keep it legal. And using his length to collect the far ankle. And that's, as you were saying, Dean, he's a big guy at 141 pounds. Uses length and his leverage to score there. He cuts Coleman right away.
Associate head coach Tony Ramos, who was brilliant on the coach's call, was calling for that cut and release.
Seems they really want to push Scott here. Get him to get himself uncomfortable. Push for bonus. And this is a guy who's ranked 24th in the country, but he's dangerous. He's shown he can get top 10 wins. He's really hard to score on from his feet. If he can correct some of the things on the mat, I mean, you could see him wrestling Friday night in March.
He's strong, but to be fair, he's also cat-like quick, I think.
Yeah, real quick, yeah. He's a good athlete. This is a beautiful ankle pick. Cross pick. Coleman tries to step out of it. Scott does a nice job getting his knees behind Coleman's leg here to kind of lock that knee in, because he can either come to his feet with this single leg or reach across to that far ankle and drive through for his takedown. Good kind of subtle positional switch there to secure his 3 points.
That was a great look at it too, wasn't it?
Yeah, beautiful camera work here. Coleman's just kind of trying to hold position here, it looks like. Scott's been really the one on the attack. And there's the stall. Coleman back to that 2-on-1. This over-under will eat time. UNC's corner asking for a lot more urgency here, a lot more pace, trying to put it on Coleman.
Rhino, we talked about the athleticism of Scott, but going back to that ankle pick and then even how he's managing this third period, I feel like technically he's really strong too in the sport.
He's getting a lot better, and he's shown us an ability to attack both sides of the body, which in college wrestling, if you can do that, it gives you huge advantages. He's attacked from ties, and now he's gotten to an outside step single leg from the open. So he's shown a variance of attacks. He's trying not to kind of get stalled out here somewhat, trying to get bonus for UNC. Coleman's going to hold on to that far ankle like a dog on a bone.
Yeah, if Scott can somehow get released and get his body around, he would have that bonus point, but now they're going to reset.
He's going to have just under 15 seconds to go get it.
Coleman knew it was coming. And it looks like he's content riding it out and just giving up the 3 points. That's what's going to happen. 3 more points.
Another decision win for North Carolina, another 7-point win just off bonus points. We're about to get a look at 149-pounder Lachlan McNeil for UNC. 3 top 10 guys in the country at this weight in the ACC's, Dean.
Incredible. Lachlan 13-3 on the seasons. And then for Duke, kind of a surprise, as we'll see Eli Murray get a shot.
Debut for Murray. Hasn't been in the lineup this year. And good luck, kid. You just drew a top 10 guy in the country in Lachlan McNeil.
Eli Murray, a freshman from Mooresville, North Carolina, Lake Norman High School, beautiful part of the state. He has had some exhibition wrestling. He's 3-3 on the season. Actually pinned Matt Buck from Cal Baptist in 125. I mean, under 90 seconds.
Credit, he's come out with some active hands here. He's trying to wrestle, and that's the thing about when you get an opportunity like this to wrestle a top 10 guy in the country, there's really no pressure on you. You can kind of wrestle free. There's not as much expectation, and you get to feel one of the best guys in the country and know this is where I want to get to. What is making this guy get to the next level? McNeil secures a nice single leg.
I like that breakdown on the freedom. The only thing is sometimes you can get treated like a rag doll if you're too free, right?
Yeah, it's a bit of a learning experience. So Coach Lanham will say that, you know, there's wins and learning in this sport. And this is one of those times where you're probably going to do a lot of learning.
There's a single leg.
Inside reach for McNeil again.
Yeah, McNeil, if he wants to, can end this one early.
It's a low double. He's going to climb up to this Turk, and he's going to probably reach back for that leg, and he's going to cut him again. And watching McNeil, one thing I always notice about him as he gets another takedown out this short drag, he takes to coaching really well. He's got a really great relationship with Tony Ramos in the corner, and you know, he's always looking over there for direction.
That was too easy, though, that last takedown. That was too easy.
And that's kind of the mental hurdle in this sport as well, is when somebody starts putting it on you, it becomes easier to start giving those up.
Ooh.
And this is a McNeil special here. Reaches back, collects that ankle for the bow and arrow, and he's gonna look for a fall. He's gonna get a fall here.
He's gonna get it. I feel like he thinks he's got it already. I certainly think he's got it.
It's real close, if not. There it is.
McNeil gave him a little breathing room, but not much. Lachlan McNeil, one of the best in the country, has given North Carolina a big lead over Duke.
15 to kind of aid into that team race.
So it's going to be Ferrero for Duke. Santiago, who was a 2024 NCAA qualifier and finished second place in the ACC champions a year ago. He did have a prior win over the ACC champion Ed Scott from NC State. A little bit more on Santiago, 6-3 this season. Had a key win over Illinois' Jason Kreiser, and he was a California State champ.
Ferrero getting in on a nice single leg. Ferrero's working his way back into the lineup after being out of it the first half of the year. Guy took fourth at the ACCs last year for Duke. He's got to drag Santiago back in. Really nice job by Sonny Santiago to use the edge here as a boundary.
I like the fight of Ferrero, though.
I like it too. You know, coming out, Duke's down 15-0, and Ferrero gets right after offense. A little bit of a surprise. You know, he's a guy on Tuesday as Duke's down in that match against Gardner Webb, who comes up with a huge pin that tries to get his team to rally back. And he's trying to start something here again.
I'd like to seen him have just a little bit more time to see if he could get Santiago back in play.
It looked like they were still working there on the stalemate. Santiago was the 1 seed last year at the ACCs with that upset win in the duel over Ed Scott, and lost the rematch in the ACC finals.
Eli Murray had to cut weight to get down in the match prior to this one. Ferrero at 157 comes in at 4-6 on the season, 17-34 in his career. Not terrible. And as you mentioned, that big win on Tuesday.
He's a grinder. He's a guy who works really hard. He's working himself back into shape as Santiago gets a takedown here as he tries to build towards the end of the year. Nice single leg here from Santiago. Ferrero sprawls, runs the pipe here, and secures the 3. Ferrero knee slides up. He ends up in a short sit. He's going to have to clear his wrist here. I see a count. Santiago with this ankle ride. Ferrero clears it nicely. But he's running out of time in this period.
Certainly has not been a walk in the park for Santiago, mainly just because of the out-of-the-gun start from Ferrero.
So one of our more active, kind of competitive first periods tonight. Both guys, a number of shots. No wasted motion. Ferrero's going to go under here.
Both these wrestlers with the wide shoulders, the muscles on top of muscles on their back.
Both guys have seen the inside of a weight room once or twice. We start to see that as we go up in weight. A lot of activity here. Short drag by Santiago. That's nice. Ferrero runs out of it. But Santiago covers for the three-point takedown, and he immediately goes to cut him loose. Nice double to single. Ferrero doesn't use the boundary. Santiago starting to put it on him.
Yeah, he is. You see in the class now of Sonny Santiago and this North Carolina team, fresh off a remarkable upset of Virginia Tech.
Nice short drag. Ferrero tries to run out, and Santiago does a nice job covering the hip, staying low. Then he uses the edge, pulls back in, kind of shucks out his arm, and ends up with another score. And he's really pushing the pace here. Ferrero's starting to really slow down.
9-2 the score. Bonus point in play, so that means bonus point as a team as well.
Ferrero goes roll through here, and he ends up in on the leg, and he makes a mistake to go to cover the head instead of running to cover that backside hip.
So 10-2.
A lot of action here. Back to over-under. Oh, beautiful cross knee pick, and he ends up with back points. Ferrero kind of fell asleep late in the period there, and Santiago made him pay. Throws this underhook over, catches the cross knee pick, and ends up with 2 late back points for a 5-point move.
And what he did is just kickstart the notion of a tech fall here early to start this period.
Absolutely, Dean. That's why you don't want to fall asleep late in periods like that. Because now he's absolutely thinking about making this match 20-0 for North Carolina. Ferrero's going to get hit for stalling for dropping to that leg.
So it's 16-3, and Santiago just 1 second away from the riding time.
It'll be interesting to see as Santiago tries to work for his escape. Does he try to go feet to back at all, or just try to secure a takedown to get the tech fall?
Boy, Ferrero so promising to start, but now it's just pure power from Santiago, who is Really matching wits with every attack from Ferrero.
Yeah, and Ferrero's put himself out there, and Santiago's just won these little positions and put himself into better spots that have led to kind of building on those scores, and the match gets more and more out of hand at that point.
Sean Kenny and The Rock Harrison, will be here next Friday for ACC Network's Friday Night Duels with Virginia Tech in town. And there it is. There's the Tech. So it's now 20-0 in favor of the Tar Heels.
Really good performance from Sonny Santiago.
Lead, and I mentioned the Friday Night Duels. The Bright Lights will be here next week with Virginia Tech in town. Then you got Virginia and Virginia Tech, North Carolina Pitt, Stanford, NC State, and of course they wrap it up with NC State, Virginia Tech. That's always fantastic as we head into this matchup.
Always a barn burner at the end of the year that goes right into the ACC tournament, where typically those two teams are battling for the title.
All right, so listen, we came on the air talking about Aiden Wallace, the redshirt freshman, having a banger of a season, but he's going to sit this one out.
Late scratch for Wallace, replaced by Nick Tatini here, who takes on Amari Alvarez from UNC.
Tatini in the gray singlet, Alvarez in the Carolina blue.
Tatini typically wrestles at 157 pounds. Takes a shot. Alvarez with the counter. And he's going to finish that inside three-point takedown for Alvarez. He could climb to a Turk here. That's what he's looking for. He's going to collect it. And he is close to back points. He's just got to climb up the body here, and he's going to get him.
Came into this thinking he was going to face one of the hottest wrestlers in the ACC.
Yeah,
Decent rollout by Tatini.
I can't imagine he was thrilled to hear that Wallace wasn't wrestling tonight. A big opportunity to wrestle against a ranked guy, and he's trying to take it out on Nick Tatini.
Alvarez, a 2023 Georgia State champion, a U17 World Team Trials finalist.
Nice takedown here off the counter by Alvarez. Gets up to a treetop position, uses inside leg to trip, and secures a three-point takedown.
Amari Alvarez, 5-5 on the season.
Talented guy given his high school career, national prep finalist. Good opportunity here for him to wrestle for North Carolina in a duel like this. Tatini secures his escape. Nice shuck by there. That was beautiful.
3 more for Alvarez. It's 9-1, and he's got the riding time.
Did a really nice job getting to an ankle ride, elevating that right to a leg ride.
To be proper, I'm here with Dr. Dylan Rhino Ryan, a neurologist at Duke, which has got to be a thrill for you, I would think.
It's great to be here. Obviously, you know, it was nice to be here as a wrestler and use my education to end up in a great field, and I'm really excited about it. Get to work with great people every day and take care of wonderful patients.
Final seconds counting down of what was a very active first period for Alvarez against Tatini.
We're going to see a beautiful throw by here from Alvarez. Changes the pressure as Tatini comes into him, shucks him by, covers the hips for a three-point takedown.
We showed those Friday night duels as we head to the second, and how about just the enormous growth of college wrestling, and then also creating personalities like Rock. I mean, he's just elevated. I mean, that guy established himself as a referee. Now I think he's one of the premier broadcasters out there.
He's an excellent rules analyst, first of all, an excellent communicator as a former official, but just the excitement he brought to ACC wrestling, and obviously that was infectious for a lot of people. We're really lucky to have such a great number of duels broadcast on this network that bring wrestling to fans around the country and really introduce the brand of ACC wrestling to fans around the country.
I keep in touch with Rock, and I gave him credit for hanging in with the big personalities that are featured at the NCAAs. Those are some big-time personalities. Rock didn't back down.
Oh, no. You know, talking right with Jordan Burroughs and Daniel Cormier. You know, Rock laying down the law on those officiating rules. I love it. Slower second period here so far. And I jinxed that right with a low single. Tatini squares up nicely, but Alvarez is sucking this leg up. Nice job by Tatini there to collapse the hip. And he's in a position where if he breaks this lock, he might be able to cut a corner and score. Alvarez holding on for a stalemate here.
(9-2) riding time in play for Alvarez.
Tatini got it put on him a bit in the first period, and he's had a much better second period. Now he's the one coming forward.
I agree.
Well, it's good to get over that mental hurdle for yourself after, you know, going down 9-1, 9-0, coming out having a much better period.
Tatini, a junior from Crown Point, Indiana, Crown Point High School. 5-20 in his career, 2-9 on the season. Down 9-2 as they head to the third, and Tatini will be on top.
Crown Point's produced a lot of excellent college wrestlers. It's a great program in Indiana. National champion Jason Surtsis from Crown Point.
Nice nugget.
Alvarez is up from the tripod. Stand up to Tatini with a nice lift and return. Tatini's looking like he's trying to catch this wrist, but Alvarez uses elbow off to get inside. He's not really chaining that together, and then he's out.
Wow. Alvarez made that shot disappear.
It's like a matador. Just shot right into thin air. Easy to cut the corner there. And he's going to climb up and climb out of bounds. Build his riding time.
Everything but the red cape.
There it is, matador. Tatini goes right by. Alvarez does a nice job not coming over the body. Uses his far hand to get to the hip, cover for his three-point takedown. And he's going to cut Tatini loose and try to get back to work for a tech fall here. Tatini in on a shot now. Got to pop his hips. Alvarez clears. Nice timing on the reshot by Alvarez. Scoops up the double.
Power.
Showing some of the power, the flash, the speed. And he needs another takedown to get a tech. And that's what Tony Ramos is asking for.
What a great example of that communication from the coach to wrestler for the Tar Heels.
Well, UNC's done a really nice job kind of listening to that staff. Kind of address it. We've seen the calls from the corner and the wrestlers kind of immediately going to that action.
I think Coach Ramos would like to see a little more actually in that final 14 seconds. I mean, they got the win, but they were looking for more.
Yeah, I think they were looking for more here. And Alvarez off this underhook with a nice time reshot. Gets to a double leg, powers the hips up of Tatini and scores.
So So it's now 24-0 in favor of North Carolina as we move to 174, and it'll be Joshua Ogunsanya, who's 6-3 on the season, taking on Gaetano Consoli.
Ogunsanya, transfer from Columbia. He gets right in on a shot. And I think he's going to end up finishing this. Oh, nice job by Consoli. Transfer from Columbia actually beat his former teammate, who was also a transfer from Columbia in the duel against Virginia Tech, Lennox Wolak, an All-American. So he's coming off the high point of his season, wrestling here against Consoli.
Yeah, Lennox, who was 6th in the country when they got that win in their last meet in Chapel Hill. I said it kind of sent shockwaves through the college wrestling world. That's probably overstating it, because it's clear that North Carolina is legit.
They're a really talented team, and they hadn't had kind of their full lineup through the year, some injuries, and they're starting to put it together at the right time, and they have lofty goals coming into this dual season as they head towards the postseason.
And Rhino, you know the Ogunsanya name pretty well because he had brothers that wrestled at Army.
Oh yeah, PJ Ogunsanya was a staple in the West Point lineup. Really talented family of wrestlers out of Illinois. And they are all physical.
This man here, Joshua, a 2-time NCAA qualifier during his time with Columbia.
He actually had a brief connection to Duke. He was at one point coached up at Columbia by Mitch Feinsilver, who was in the room there with the New York RTC. He gets to this treetop position. Consoli's very flexible. He's going to give up this takedown. Consoli's right out, and he attacks. You gotta like that of your Duke. Trying to get back on the board here. Trying to get something started. Consoli peeks at the clock. Ogunsanya doing a really nice job controlling wrists from his feet to get to his offense. Consoli with a shot late in the period.
Ogunsanya, though, just so strong, so quick. It doesn't feel like a 3-1 match.
No. Ogunsanya has done a few lap pulls in his day. His back is impressive. Consoli starts on top here. Oh, Ogunsanya going misdirection. He's really picking up the pace on Consoli here. Nice shot. Gets to a double. Switch to a single.
Smashed.
This is where Consoli's made a mistake here. Kind of out of position going elevator, and he's going to give up back points. And he's in big trouble. There's going to be a fall.
Yeah, there's so much time. He is in big trouble. Look at this. I mean, yeah, look at that power there. With all that time, Consoli was done.
Ogunsanya doing a nice job here. He gets into this double. Consoli goes elevator. Ogunsanya. Looks like he's going to start this one with a 7-0 lead.
Kane is 12-4. Beat TJ Stewart from Virginia Tech and Edmund Ruth from Illinois.
Yeah, he's a guy who's ranked in the 20s, who it would not be at all surprising if he's on the podium in March. Obviously, as a former All-American.
He's another one of those 4-time state champs in high school, doing it in Georgia. Oh my.
It's hard enough to win one. And he gets another takedown here.
Dean Linke with Dylan Rhino Ryan, who also has the 11th Man Award named after him. That's quite an honor, Rhino. Explain that again to me if you can.
It was quite a surprise. You know, it was really my teammates, and one of them, Evan Botwin, came up with this idea and approached Coach Lanham with it after the fact. But one thing that Duke really preaches is being the total student athlete, you know, getting grades off the mat, being a good teammate, getting involved in community service, you know, answering the bell when the team needed you. And the award really speaks to kind of being there for your teammates and being that first guy off the bench, like the sixth man award in basketball, you know, and trying to do whatever you can to help the team succeed. And it was really an honor at our banquet, and it was something that the coaching staff continued moving forward, and you know, really special to be part of this program and the university itself. And anytime people want to honor you with something, it's just very grateful.
No, I know you're super humble, but congratulations for that, and just spending even minimal time with you. I value it, my man.
I really appreciate that, Dean, and everybody here has been, you know, really awesome and giving me opportunities to grow as a person and a former athlete, and it's been really special to kind of grow into an adult in this community and continue to work with this, you know, wonderful staff.
Well said. Big lead here, as expected, for Kane. Looked like Kane was going to get a pin early on.
Yeah, he gets right to a high crotch here, and he gets chest up like a statue, as Coach Will Rowe would say, gets to a finish. And the patience UNC has really shown, and the patience Kane here showed to kind of know the position he's in and to put Huss in big trouble here. That's been really impressive from UNC, that positional patience, not to rush through anything, to kind of collect their three and then work to the next score.
10-2, Kane on top of Hussey. Hussey, a sophomore from Lincroft, New Jersey, Middletown South High School, 4-9 on the season after going 0-6 a year ago. Good to see him in the win column 4 times.
Certainly shown improvement for Duke. He's a guy who's battled later in matches, which is what you want to see when you get behind in these big holes, and you know that next hurdle of starting to win more matches, getting towards 500 and then having winning seasons.
I think the toughest part is the 4 wins came in his first 5 matches of the year, and so his last win coming back on November 6th against Hofstra.
And you get into the deeper points in the season and the ACC schedule, and you're seeing tougher opponents. And I certainly know what that's like, you know, to go in the lion's den and be on the other side of it. And, you know, it takes a lot of heart and patience to try to work through that season to season and you know, teach yourself kind of what it's like to win again. You almost worry about forgetting and kind of having this quicksand sensation of bad things happening one after another, but it only takes kind of one time to get yourself back on the right track. Nice work from Kane, big lift. And he collects a wrist, which has been a recurrent problem from Duke.
How about the lift from Kane? Really, really made it look easy.
Impressive power 5 minutes into a match. Lift somebody with ease like that.
Up here. Knees under.
14-2 with riding time at 1:19.
We're gonna see it here. He spins out. Hussey spins out. Kane collects the hips and pops his hips right up. lifts him easy and brings him down to the mat in a controlled fashion and gets his takedown. I'm going to cut him loose to start the third period. Another high crotch and another lift.
Wow.
He's trying to go feet to back here, which is what UNC wants.
The lead is 14.
He's climbing up to a leg. Hussey's not really doing much from the bottom here, kind of more in survival mode. Looks like Kane might be trying to slowly bait him into a bow and arrow.
And then it's over.
Stalemate.
Thought maybe Kane would drive a little bit more to end it right there. I felt like he was in the position to drive it.
Yeah, it looked like he didn't maybe want to force it, but I thought so too. Maybe more work from top. He's going to go. Hussey kind of just sits out.
There it is.
Gives up the tech. Another big win for North Carolina.
Yep, quick work, and you felt like he could have made it quicker if he wanted. A couple good takedowns from Kane.
Nice high crotch here. That's where he was doing most of his work. Another lift on Hussey and the patience to finish. Gets back in on another head outside single. Finishes for his tech fall.
So 197, Cade Lout, who's 10-9. He's down from heavyweight from a year ago, the former Kansas State champion in 2019. His brother Clay was an All-American for North Carolina, 174, so the Lout name's been around the Tar Heels.
Yeah, Clay was a real star for UNC, you know, placing at the national tournament, had a lot of battles in this duel with Matt Finesilver. Brothers.
Quasi Bonsu, 2-7 on the season. Len Lanham talking about the fact that there are times where he can look electric. Oh, lifted up by Lout.
There's that heavyweight power. And Bonsu, as you said, Dean, you don't always know what you're going to get from him. He's a really good athlete. At times has flashes of the potential, but he's really still learning kind of a lot of the positional aspects of wrestling, and you know, through Division I college wrestling in the ACC, that's a tall task.
Bonsu, even on the escape, needs to be ready for the quick shot from Lout. Lout doesn't let too many of his opponents breathe very much.
No, and one thing I think about sometimes in these matches is, you know, what's the distance, what's the space that guys want to wrestle from, and what's the pace that they want to wrestle at. And Lout here, as compared to Bonsu, who's trying to suck up a lot of space, is a guy who used to wrestle heavyweight, who's used to that, where Bonsu wrestles a little bit more from the open, meaning that we're not tying up. So we're going to see a little bit of a stylistic clash. Nice throw by attempt, and Bonsu backs out and gets hit for stalling.
Yeah, Lout with that heavyweight experience. Take a look at this work from Lout.
Pops his hips on the body lock, does a nice job, again, finishing down on the mat in a controlled fashion and collecting his three. And Lout's doing a really nice job of getting to his underhook and sucking up space and just putting a lot of pressure on Bonsu. Finishes again, another three-point takedown. He's starting to put it on him here. Tony asks for the cut in the corner, and Lout does it.
So Bonsu doesn't exactly have the best record, but he has shown flashes. However, in this one against Lout, you can take all that strength that you are certain that Bonsu has, and there's just too much power coming from Lout.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of guys who Bonsu's going to see that have significant strength advantage over him, and Lout is a really big 97-pounder, really thick, and you know, he's teaching him things now about kind of close quarters wrestling from over-under positions, things you're going to see as a heavyweight, and really putting it on him. You see it again with this underhook throw by. UNC's done a nice job with that tonight. Kind of gets his shoulder to his ear. Bonsu goes right to the mat for another 3-point takedown for Lout.
For me, Rhino, Lout is thick from top to toes. I mean, it's not just upper body. I mean, it's lower body, midsection. I mean, it's thick all the way through.
Oh yeah, he looks like a fullback, an NFL fullback out there. But it looks like he cut the weight down nicely in a controlled fashion. And you know, sometimes when you see guys go from heavier weights down, you know, you see him gas a bit more, struggle with the weight cut. And he looks like he's done this in a really smart way. So credit to the UNC staff over there of getting him down, and credit to him of doing it in a safe way.
I'm actually surprised that he's 10-9, but I feel like with the ACC tournaments being held here at Duke, watch out for this young man. He's
talented. And against Virginia Tech, he had a really, really close match with Andy Smith, who's a top 10 guy in the country. You know, I think Lout's dangerous. He's positionally sound. He's really strong, and he's very talented. He just hasn't quite put a season together yet.
Rhino, what was the call there as he was getting ready to hook the arm of Bonsu, and the referee called him back a little bit?
Looks like he was looking for a snake there, and you know, Bonsu's arm kind of got caught up above his back, almost a bit potentially dangerous there. Lout is crushing him with this underhook position. He's looking for this snake position. He's trying to get Bonsu. He's baiting him to try to get him to reach.
It's 14 right now. I thought he was going to release him, but then he kind of got himself in a position where he could roll him.
I've been really impressed by Lout this match. He's starting to put it together at the right time. Lout off the 2-on-1. Bonsu shoots. Really good re-attack. Threatens with the cradle here. Rolls through. Ends up on top. And then this underhook has been the best position of the match for Cade Lout. Another nice throw by.
Boy, Bonsu's so strong, but you feel like it's an ice bath moment for Bonsu once this one is over.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's getting it put on him a little bit, but it's been physical.
Clock issue when they started the third round. They'll get that taken care of. Heavyweight Nolan Neves, 22 Ohio State champion for North Carolina, and then of course Barquette, who has continued the strong tradition of heavyweight powers for the Duke Blue Devils.
Yeah, big opportunity for Neves in the next match, and for Carolina to kind of see what they have at heavyweight, which is a weight class they, struggled in, more since Corey Daniel graduated, and seeing, testing their guy against a ranked guy in Barquette.
Lout can end it by bringing Bonsu down.
These guys are throwing some heavy clubs. Bonsu with a throw. Lau does a nice job of catching his hips, not end up on his back.
I'll take that from Bonsu based on where he was in this match. I mean, it's going to be over here in a second, but
roll through attempt, and that's gonna be it. But yeah, you'll take that. The clock error, it seemed like, gave him some energy and some spirit to at least go for it. And you're down big in a match. That's the only way you're gonna end up trying to win, is getting someone to their back, and he went for it.
More big points, though, for the Tar Heels and what has been a dominant performance. And remember the name, Cade Lau. Tough loss, as you said, to Andy Smith against Virginia Tech. That's Nolan Neves, 5-6 on the season. Had a brother, or has a brother, Carter, who's at Ohio State. And actually, that'll allow me to brag a little bit, since I've been talking about you. My claim to fame is only through other people, and I went to the same high school as Mark Coleman, who was pretty good at Ohio State and pretty good for the USA, the Hammer.
Yeah, the Hammer, a legend of the MMA world and a fantastic wrestler for the Buckeyes. Been in the news recently, saving his family from a house fire, getting things back on order. A really excellent athlete.
Yeah, his mom was kind of the head of the school forever.
Oh, and Barquette's in trouble.
Wow. Good start from Neves.
I wonder if we're going to see a challenge here from Rob Cole and UNC. We may get back points here. That's a mistake from Barquette. That was a really nice reshot by Nolan Neves. And Barquette, like often in heavyweight matches, somewhat saved by the out of bounds there, because he was in big trouble.
And shame on us for not mentioning Rob Cole, who has had a illustrious college coaching career back at his alma mater after 32 years away, and they love that he's there.
Yeah, Rob Cole coming over from Stanford after a long time at Cornell. Really excellent coach, and now back where he won a national title. We're looking at this replay here. Neves ends up with the reshot takedown off the double. Barquette ends up in near fall position. That looks like it's a 1 count. Hard to see from this angle if Barquette clears 45 degrees. I think it's going to be hard to give this one back points, though it is about as close as it gets. Another look at it from our team.
You can see the official's on the wrong side, so he doesn't really have a look, so replay will help him.
Yeah. And his colleague, the assistant, came over, talked it over, who may have had a better angle at it. That's a tough thing about officiating, especially at the college level, is things can change so quickly positionally. Looks like no back points, and the UNC fans are not thrilled with that call.
It'll be NC State on the 31st in Chapel Hill, the next opponent for the Tar Heels.
Back-to-back rivalry matches for the Tar Heels. Now with 7 teams in the ACC, there's a bye week for each team, so they'll have some time to regroup after this and build up to what they think might be the biggest match of the year for them. Barquette's back to his feet. Barquette's getting to this inside lefty collar. He's coming off to a steer on the opposite side to try to move Neves. Wear on his head. Good shot from Neves. Barquette clears it.
Duke has App State at home, and then they'll hit the road. They'll have App State on the road, rather, and they'll be back home for Virginia Tech, Pitt, and then on the road at Virginia, and then they'll finish with Stanford and then host the ACC championships.
Tough schedule. App State, really good program with John Mark Bentley, and then obviously Virginia Tech coming into Durham, you know, number 11 team in the country. Barquette's starting to up his activity level here and move Neves. Nice look. Gets to a body lock. Nice finish by Connor Barquette. Now he's looking to build his riding time.
Barquette with a win can tie Wallace on Duke with 21 wins on the season. He's 20-5. Coming up a 16-15 season a year ago.
Really started to put it together and put his offense together more. He gets to a body lock here and steps across the body, slides down, secures the hips, and gets on top for a takedown.
It took Barquette less than 5.5 minutes to get a tech fall against Rocky Fowles and Gardner Webb on Tuesday.
That's more of what they want to see out of Barquette. See him pushing the pace, set the tempo, nice lift and return there. But really start to impose his will on other heavyweights, you know, as he builds towards the end of the season. This is probably a must-win match for him given where he is in the rankings and thinking about trying to secure one of those bids for nationals for the conference.
At one point during the season, Barquette ran off 13 straight wins.
He's had a bit of a flair for the dramatic at times with some comeback wins in that.
This is a good one. Good one to end it on. Yes, it's been dominated by North Carolina, but I feel like this was the weight class we were most looking forward to, in addition to, we thought we were going to see Wallace, of course. That was an unfortunate scratch.
Yeah, good first period, especially at heavyweight. Most competitive period I think we've probably seen in the night. And a really good matchup here at heavyweight. And why not finish up with the most anticipated match of the night, the main event?
A 5-3 lead for Barquette. 5 unanswered.
Looks like Barquette's starting to wear on Neves a little bit. Seen his stance break a little bit. He's a bit more upright. This work that he's done with kind of steering him off has been helpful. But we're seeing Neves time these re-attacks really well. He's in good position here. Barquette's got to scoot the corner, get his hips back. Neves is really close to a takedown here. Barquette should bail here, and he does. We've gone back and forth.
What a great match. Dead even.
Barquette right back in on a shot. Goes out the back door. We're going to see a danger call here. Barquette pops his head. This looks like 125 pounds, but it's two heavyweights.
It does. Yeah, it did.
Some athleticism.
It did look like a lower weight tilt right there. Good scramble. Nice work by Barquette.
These two guys are coming out here to compete. They know how big this match is. For Carolina, they'd love to shut out Duke and end on a big upset win at heavyweight. And Barquette out here for pride for the Blue Devils. Barquette came out the back door. You see him hook in that bottom leg and pop the top leg. He gets his three-point takedown. Works to finish the period on top.
Final period of the final match of this Friday night duel. Cameron Indoor Durham, North Carolina, Bull City. And reminding you again, March 9th, Duke will be the host of the now 7-team ACC championships. Ronald's going to carry me through Mat 2 coverage. Looking forward to that.
Oh no, Dean, a true pro. Going to help me through that. It's going to be awesome here at Duke, being back in the rotation. Historic venue. It's exciting for all these wrestlers to get to come in here and perform in front of their teammates and their families as they try to get to the national tournament.
Yeah, that's so well said. It'll be my second run through Duke for the ACC championships, and you're right. Just you start at Cameron Indoor and the fire is up.
Oh yeah, yeah. And you got people who want to come and experience that here, and knowing the venue, it'll certainly be loud, and I expect a great team race. Getting late here in this one. Neves has really been looking for that re-shot and re-attack. He's got to put himself out here. "20 seconds left. Neves has got to take an attack.
3-point lead. Barquette, you saw him just take a quick look at the scoreboard and the time.
Took an awful long glance at that scoreboard. Sometimes when you see that as the opponent, it just energizes you of, oh, this guy's just thinking of getting to the end.
Now 10. Defense. Could see a stall warning coming in. 5 seconds remaining. Shot denied, and it is going to be Barquette getting the win and getting Duke on the board. So the shutout not there. North Carolina does get the win. Connor Barquette, though, 21-5. Final thought from Dr. Dylan Rhino Ryan on an impressive performance.
Really impressed with UNC. They came out off the high of their season. They showed their composure. They showed a lot of poise, and they showed a lot of patience in their scores. Big learning experience for Duke, but a nice win for Connor Barquette at the end of the match that they hopefully can build on moving forward.
All right, great to be with you, Rhino, and definitely we'll see you on March 9th, if not before. For Will Black, Chad Lampman, and the amazing crew here.